Okay, this is going to be a longer video, and I apologize, but it needs to be talked about. This is a cultural norm that has become like too acceptable, and it's actually one of my biggest pet peeves having a job. Okay, a little background information. I work at my local Olive Garden. I freaking adore my job. I have nothing bad to say about it. Like, if your Olive Garden is hiring, go work there. But I am a hostess at my Olive Garden, so that means I take people back to their tables. I food run. I help. It's more in depth than just taking people back to their tables, but that's the gist of it. One of the things that is like a rule for us, I guess, is, and I bet it's like this in, again, this is one of my first jobs, and I bet this is like this for other like sit-down restaurants. When you take your guests back to the sign section or table you're taking them back to, and they ask for another table, you have to let them sit there. No matter if it's not the server section, no matter if it's out of rotation, no matter if no server's in that section, no matter if the reservation's there, no matter if it doesn't matter, you have to let them sit wherever they want to sit. And you know, you're probably like, oh, no big deal, right? It actually can become such an issue because let's say on like a slow night, server A is next to get a table. So customers come in or guests come in and you go to seat server A at one of their tables, but server Z, who just got sat 5 minutes ago, has a booth and the guests want that booth. You have to give it to that table. Give them that table that server Z has. So now server Z is overwhelmed. Server A is pissed off because they didn't get a table, and just like everyone's mad. It makes things so complex. And I just want to know, like, before getting this job, I never once ever in my life had gone to a restaurant and says, I don't want to sit there. I don't want to sit there. I don't like that table. I don't like where it is. I mean, common courtesy, if you're going to somewhere like Olive Garden, you're like at the front, at the host stand, and you say, can I get a booth? Of course. Thank you for telling me right here now. But when I'm walking back, actively taking you to a table, and you say, can I get a booth? Okay. Or when you specifically request a table, oh my gosh, or you specifically say you don't want this specific table. I've had guests come in and literally specifically say, I want a booth. I want it on the left side of the restaurant, but I don't want the middle booth or the far right booth. What in what world? Like, oh, never in my life have I ever requested a table unless it was a reservation or anything. And like the things people say to you, like, I don't want to sit by the bathroom, I don't want to sit on the right side of the restaurant, I don't want to sit by a window, I don't want to do this, I don't want to do that. Like, what? I don't know. I just think like all human just like brain matter is just gone because I don't know how to explain it. And surprisingly enough, this is not just the old people. You know what? I give our elders grace when they want a booth or they want a table, whatever. I give them grace. This is not just our elders. This is teenagers, 20-year-olds, 30-year-olds, 40-year-olds, 50-year-olds, and so on. It is insane how just like comfortable like these generations have gotten. This isn't like a seating arrangement type ordeal, but I worked tonight and this table, it like blows my mind. But my manager came up and talked to the host stand. I love her, such a sweetheart. But she came up and she told me that this specific table said they weren't feeling their food and they wanted new food. You know what? If you are allergic to something in the food, if there's a hair, a nail, something's not cooked enough, it's cold, of course we will get you new food, of course. But you're not feeling your food. Oh, sorry, it just like blows my mind just how just like, if you've never worked in the restaurant industry or like in this serving, hosting, to-go, busing, like have a little bit more human decency and just realize that like these people are serving you, and by you being petty and requesting more, you're making our lives harder, and we don't get paid enough to put up with that. I don't know. What are your guys' opinions on that? Good night. Thanks for listening to my rant.